Hello, folks who might be joining. I see those numbers moving. That's kind of good. Yeah, Facebook is still asking me for my login information. So I don't think we're going to be able to go live on Facebook, unfortunately. But while folks are joining and we have a few minutes before we begin, I will start to say hello to everybody who is coming on and remind everybody that Q&A is open and the chat bar is open, and we totally want to hear from you. We want to hear where you're joining in from. We want you to wave hello. We want to welcome you, folks who are joining. We're just joining. I know it takes a little while before everybody actually gets on, but definitely give a wave. Tell us you're here. Hi, Beth from NYC. Woohoo! That's my backyard. Yay! Hi, Benny, Stamford, Connecticut. I was in your neck of the woods last night. Yay. Hi, Benny. Hi, Beth. Who else is joining us? Please let us know. Give a shout out. Wave hello. Hi, Cheryl and Kathleen and Kathy and Dale. We got Washington here and Ohio and New Mexico. We got Texas. We got Canada. Hello. Hello, UK. Woohoo. That's awesome. It's great to see everybody. Hello, Lakeland, Florida. Hello, Joanne, another Canadian. That is awesome. If you guys wouldn't also mind giving, letting me know how you found out about this Meet the Miniaturist, that would be kind of nice. Just, I always like to know how you find out, because I always look for the best ways to communicate, whether it's through my email distribution or Facebook. Thank you, Kathy. Facebook is a good a place where people find out about these. My website, I usually keep pretty much up to date. I hope I do, just to make sure everybody knows what's going on. Email, thank you. If you're just joining, give a shout out, say hello, let us know where you're joining from. North Carolina, Clifton Park, New York. That's my backyard. Lisa bought fabric from me and I saw her on Instagram. All right, that's cool. Thank you, Nikki. California, and I don't know if I'm saying this right. Burlingame, California. Where's that in California, north or south? Oh, the miniature building behind me. All right, I should dedicate a whole Meet the Miniaturist about this piece behind me. Hi, Toronto. We've got a lot of Canadian. Oh, no, near Toronto. You are high up. Canada goes old. No. Okay, wait. I'm getting confused. So, all right. We got a lot of Canadians on the line. Hi, Seattle. Spain. Yay. More Europeans on the line. Hi, Massachusetts and Edmonton. Awesome. All right. So we're past the 4 o'clock, and I like to keep things on time. So welcome, everybody, and welcome, Lisa Sones-Peck. Thank you so much for being a Meet the Miniaturist today. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Darren, and I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here. I'm excited here. I found you obviously online. I fell in love with your work. I fell in love with everything you were doing. I learned a little bit about you before we got on this Zoom. I know that you dabbled in miniatures, then life happened. And then there came a point when you went back to miniatures. I would love to hear a little bit about that journey. And then, of course, we're going to hear all about the Cricut machine and all of your involvement in that work and that sort of technology that is becoming really big in the miniatures world. So that's why I was so glad that you're available to do this. And because I think there are a lot of people out there who don't know very much, including me, about Cricut. So, and I think you're really leading the path, leading the way on this with your YouTube channel and your tutorials and everything that you're doing. So I can't wait to just dive in, learn about you, and then see it in action. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you for that amazing introduction. As you said, I kind of going right back to when I was at school. I really enjoyed art, and kind of as you get older, we did have things called O-levels in this country, and I'm of a generation that did them. And you're coming up to the year before you're going to choose your O-levels. And I was doing art, and my art teacher took a red pen and marked my work not very complimentary, and basically said, "This is rubbish, give up now." And I was absolutely heartbroken, and I felt, oh no, oh, what have I done? I shouldn't do this anymore. So that was the point where I kind of stopped on the creative side and went to more the maths and the science side. But I did do graphic design and engineering drawing. So there's a little bit of creativity.
Dabble in it.
Yeah.
Dabbled in it. Lisa, I wanted to stop you there because I think we're getting a little feedback from the other account that you signed on for the demonstration later. So I just need to turn that volume down. I think that might work.
That is muted at the moment.
Getting a little bit of feedback.
Oh.
Okay, so that's muted. All right.
Well, should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going.
I wonder, because I've turned down, I've only got one microphone on. I can hear that.
Yeah. Maybe it's your microphone? I don't know.
Let me try a different microphone. Hang on, I need my glasses.
We're all hanging, it's all good.
That was
folks who are out there. I just want to remind people that the Q&A is open, and please feel free to ask questions throughout. We'll be monitoring the Q&A and the questions, and we'll try to take as many as we can. Okay, I'm trying a different microphone. It's better, less feedback. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We'll go with that one. So back to, you did dabble in art. Yeah, and then got told, don't bother taking exams in this, so I didn't, and went and did maths and science things, and didn't really feel enthused at school, so I left and went into finance because it was the 80s, and when you could do maths in the 80s, you went into finance. Worked in London and had a career in that, all kind of brain work, accountancy, actuarial, underwriting, nothing creative at all. And so very, very sort of slightly, just before I had my first child, I started to get into miniatures then. I'd seen, I can't remember what it was, I think it was like a magazine in a shop, and it was dollhouses, and I was like, oh, something, you know, just speaks to you. Yeah. And I got into polymer clay at the time, but only very lightly. Got a few slabs, a few tools, and had a play. And then, as you said in my, my introduction, family, life, children, everything goes on the back burner. So then I didn't get creative again until my 40th birthday. And there's something that happens, isn't there, when you hit a milestone? And you think, what am I doing all this for? And just job, and then, family life. And I felt I need to do something for myself here. And then a few years later, my youngest son got to the age of, he was starting to think about GCSEs. And I realised I had some time. So I signed on at college for 1 day a week, making jewellery, silver and copper jewellery, and that started to, I used my hands. It was a great course. It was one of those where you don't have to design things, you just get straight in with the materials. That works for me. So I got into that, and then I really got into that, and I enjoyed it. And then again, another time, I was there in the magazine, the magazine newsagents spoke to me, and it was a dollhouse magazine. And I suddenly kind of clicked the two. Oh, again to you, right? Did it reemerged again? I mean, yes. And so I thought, I wonder if I could make a miniature in silver. So I tried, and I did make, I should have got it out today, tiny little Georgian toast rack, which was nuts. It's like small amount of soldering, but you do these things, don't you, to challenge yourself. And then that kicked that off again. I suddenly got into miniatures, and I'd had a house in the 80s. I didn't know what to do with it. It was a typical Victorian house. I looked at it, and you said I couldn't paint it. I certainly couldn't furnish it. I was too scared to do anything with it. I don't know, that disappeared over the years. So I kind of started to branch out little by little, and it was one of those days where you're walking through the hobby store. Yeah.
And I'd been up and down the aisles, always looking at these die cutting machines.
Right.
And I love that idea that you could just turn a handle and this like perfect little shaped thing comes out. But I always felt inhibited by it was a fixed size and style, so you had no creative input. And then one day, as I was going up and down the aisles, I saw the Cricut machine being demoed, and it was,
Was this a live demo that you stumbled upon?
Yeah, they were kind of like, had just the thing, and this is what this does, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then this is the software, and you're like, not only can I size the things to whatever size I want, you can actually draw your own shapes.
Right.
And there was something that clicked in my head, and I thought, I can design my own shapes. And you know, when you walk away,
Yeah.
and it ticks over, and I'm thinking, well, if I could, I'd spoken to my husband about it and said, I've been looking at these things for a while and not said anything, but this one's come along now and I think I have to have it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I just feel like I need to have this thing.
But I want to zoom in on a couple of things, because I think you're having a similar experience as most people do. They walk up and down the aisles, they might see this Cricut machine, which I have too. And for the first 2 years, I would walk right past it because I didn't know what it did. I didn't get that great demo. But I want to zoom in on exactly what hit you in terms of why you need this machine. Talk a little bit about, I can make my own shapes.
I know, it's just really
what does that mean versus how people might be working right now with miniatures?
Well, I never thought in a million years that I could design and build furniture. I don't have that background. And I did do engineering drawing, which puts things into place. You have first angle and third angle projection, but that was drawing stuff that already existed. And that was 30 years ago or more. So it was just something about, I know in my sort of very limited miniatures then, I hadn't even got back into it, I always really wanted a working wood burning stove. Okay. And I couldn't find one ever. And it was just, something clicked. They're showing you, and you could do a square and you can enlarge it, or you could unlock it and you can make a rectangle. And they were talking about for cutting greetings cards and vinyl for t-shirts. But there was just something that said, I can make my own shapes, whatever size, whatever dimension or shape, I could build that into a 3D thing. And the wood burning stove was the thing that I'd been wanting in my head to buy, and I couldn't find it to buy. And it's pretty much a cube with legs, and one of the sides opens like a door. So it was a good place to start with. So shall I go over to the software now, and I can show you?
Yeah.
Probably demonstrate it more.
Yeah. So let me just make a couple of things clear, at least in my own head, and maybe if there are others who. So there are actually two parts to this Cricut machine. There is the machine that cuts the little pieces that make up the piece of furniture or whatever you want it to make.
Yeah.
And then there is software or some sort of program that creates the shapes that the machine recognizes to cut for you.
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And I think that's what people find the most daunting. So in one of my series on YouTube, the bite-size series, we literally go, let's just look at the machine, and we do nothing but the machine. And then the next time we just look at the software, because they are two separate things. And then when they link up, that's the magic bit. So if I show you the software.
Because I also want people to realize that those two pieces, you don't have to be great on both those pieces. You could be a builder and want to build something and just make the and not have to create all the shapes. And then you could be a person who actually designs, which is what you do. You design the furniture, and also obviously make them and cut the pieces. But if you don't want to have anything to do with creating the shapes and just want to have the machine and download the shapes and cut those shapes to make what you want, you could do that too. Because I think the software might be something that really freaks people out.
Yes, I think, and that's it. You can use this software. You can get it on an iPad and iPhone, and on desktop and Mac. But to cut wood, you do need the computer version because it's got a blade and more pressure. So you do need the computer version for that. So can you see that now on the screen share?
Yeah, it's there. Yep, it's beautiful. It's clear.
So this is the software. It's called Design Space, and this is one of the templates for my stove. And you can see it's just like this one is the back of the stove and then the front door, and it's really that simple. And you can change the size, and you get to know what all the buttons do. It's not really complicated, so you can bring in projects. You can certainly just import a file. You don't have to design everything, so that's why we sell the SVGs for people that just want to kind of put it on the canvas like this, and then you just come over here and press make it, and it's that simple. Right. If you want it that simple, it's that simple. And then this green square is the key one. We put that in our designs. It's an inch square for 12 scale. If you wanted to make this 24 scale, you just shrink that down to ½ inch square, and it's that simple to scale up and down. So if I click to make it now, it takes us over to the mats, and this is where it cuts all the pieces on the different mats. And then I'm going to cut these pieces here. So I would click make it.
So wait, can I just ask you, this software right now that we're looking at is part of the Cricut?
Yeah. This one is free. It's called Design Space, and it comes with the Cricut machine. There are others. There's Adobe Illustrator, there's Inkscape, which I use, and they're very similar, but they just have a little more function. So if you're used to designing stuff, there's nodes, and if you're doing anything artistic in graphic design, you want to be able to click on individual nodes. That's what you can do, say, in Inkscape, that you can't do in Design Space. But certainly the first stove we built and some of the very first files we did first in this free software. So you can actually download it and play with it before you even get the machine.
Oh, that's a really great point. So you can download this software. It looks pretty simple to use. You just draw little shapes on the grid.
Yeah.
And you save it, and it'll cut it where it appears on the grid. Is that how?
So you select the material there, and there's so many different types of material, hundreds, and it tells you here which blade to put in. So if we can go to the screen now, can you bring up with the phone on it? Can you get that one?
Yeah. Okay. So
I'll stop that.
I will bring up so we're going to move now to the Cricut, actually.
Hopefully that's still there.
Okay. Okay, so you're up. So you can actually, it should be coming on in a second. I don't think I can hide everybody. So Donald, our technical guy, is seen right now. All right, so you are on. I'm gonna ask to start video, so it should prompt you to.
Yeah, I think that's it there.
Okay, you're totally viewed. We can see your Cricut.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. So this is the mat. And I've got a white piece of craft board on it already, so you can see that. And this is the machine.
Can we just talk a little bit about the different types of materials you could put in, the thicknesses? So that's basically cardboard, cardstock?
Yeah. Craft board is a Cricut brand product, so it's a little thicker than cardstock, but it cuts really cleanly and really nicely. And they do chipboard, which I make the houses out of. So the project we're working on at the minute, can you see my screen?
Yes.
That's my haunted book nook that we're just building out at the moment. That's 2mm chipboard. You can use material, you can cut fabric on it, all different kinds of paper products and leather and basswood as well. You can cut balsa wood, but I wouldn't recommend that for miniatures. It's a little bit grainy and splintery.
You mentioned the only limitation is the actual blade. You might have to change out the blade depending on the material.
Yeah, so there's two types of blade. this type, which is quite slim, and then this type, which has a gear at the top. Can you see the gear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just flip in, it's like a cartridge?
Yeah, there's a little...
We can see the screen.
There. There's a little clamp there, and it just goes in, and it's so simple. We literally just clip them in and they're done. And the limitation is the thickness, so no material more than 2.4 millimeters. But to be honest, 2.4 millimeters, you wouldn't want anything really thicker than that in at least 12th scale anyway, certainly for furniture, and even the 2mm chipboard is fine for structures like houses and stuff. So,
all right, so let's see it.
You just get a different colour mat. So this is green mat. It's like the everyday mat, and then the purple mat is a stronger grip, so you would use that for mat board and wood, and then the pink mat is for fabric. So you soon get to know the different mats and blades for the different materials, and the software does tell you which blade for the material as well. So it's like just that simple.
Yeah.
Just put it in the guides, and you press the feed button, and it is a little noisy, so I'll start it for a bit and then I'll switch it off. And it's talking to the software, and then it flashes there, and then it will go, and you'll hear it. Here it goes. So I don't know if I can get you in there.
It's like the old-fashioned printers.
Yeah,
the ink would go.
Yeah, just like a printer. I don't know if I can get any closer than that.
It's cutting square that you created in the template.
Hang on. I'll pause that because I can't hear you over the machine. Sorry, did you say something, Darren?
No, you were saying. Sorry.
So I can't hear you over the machine. So it carries on like that, and you see it cut the shapes, and then you would just take it out, and you can literally. I haven't let it cut enough times at the minute, but
we would have a square that's been cut based on the template that you created.
Yeah, just like that.
How does it stick?
So you take it off. I'm not taking it off the right way. Really, you should put it down like that and lift it off.
Did the sticky part, did the paper come stuck like that, or how did it stick to the mat?
The mats are sticky.
The mat is sticky, so the paper doesn't move while it's being cut and shift.
Yeah. And then for thicker materials like wood and mat board, you do tape the edges down so it doesn't move.
Let's take a couple of questions. Do you mind? Because I think there are a lot of questions. What model of Cricut do you have?
It's the Cricut Maker.
Cricut Maker. Okay. And are Cricut materials strong enough to make a room box structure? And I think you showed that.
I've made like a cottage and a room box, and we've kind of designed the system now so they're modular. So we've built a first floor extension and several roofs, so you can literally expand out the units to make a doll's house of whatever size you like.
What material did you use for that little box that you made and showed? What was the material?
This one here is 2mm chipboard.
Chipboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that again.
What's the weight of that?
It's light but strong.
Light. It's strong but light.
Yeah, and this is a Cricut brand product. We always use those, A, because the machine and the blades are designed for it, but also it means that wherever you are, if you can get a Cricut material, you'll get the exact same results that I'm getting, rather than me go to a local store. You might not be able to get that where you are. So we do use the Cricut materials wherever we can get them.
And what is the general cost?
Well, the machine, the Cricut Maker, because it's like the top of the range version, it was £380.
Wow, so that's like $450 here.
Yeah, but you get a lot better prices in the States than we do, so it won't be anywhere near that for you.
I can tell you that the shops that sell the Cricut in the US, whether it's Joann's store we have Hobby Lobby, we have Michael's, there are always 50% off sales.
Yeah.
So we would get that for 50% off.
Sometimes they don't on the Cricut. I know people moan that they don't get the discounts on the Cricut, but you still get, it's nearly, I'd say, pound for dollar. What we pay in pounds, you'll pay in dollars. So you get that, and you get bundles as well, where they're bundling mats and blades. And then depending on the material you want to work with, you'll get the different blades and the different mats. So
would you ever recommend buying the lower end model and trading up later on? Or would you say, no, if you're interested in this, go get the good one, start at the good one, spend a little more money? Where's your head at?
I would definitely say if you can get the better one, get it, because you're just going to get frustrated. You can definitely build miniatures on the next model down, but you can't cut wood and the thicker materials. And so you'll end up buying more of the thinner materials and spending more time doing it and maybe not get the finish that you want. So I'd kind of say go if you can for the higher end, but you can certainly, if you've already got one, you can definitely make things out of this craft board. Like a lot of our furniture we've made just from craft board. So it's certainly not, you cannot make anything. You just, if you really get into it, you're going to get frustrated, and then you'll want the extra facilities.
Okay, well, that's good. That's wonderful. All right, so can I undo this? We're done the crick scene, the
Yeah.
I always want to call it circuit, but all right. So I have some examples of some pieces that you've made and I've pulled from your Instagram account. Can I share that?
Absolutely.
All right, hold on. I need to do this. I can't see hide. Hold on. I need. I know. Hold on, folks, because my what's it called is not working. I'm trying to it's not working. I'm gonna remove it. Yeah, I'm gonna remove the Cricut part. And I'm going to also hide. Now we're back. Hello. Okay. So, all right. Now I'm going to try to share my screen. So hold on. Be patient.
All right.
And if you have questions, put it in the box. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to share my screen. Oh, that's because I don't have.
I'm just going to hold up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. This is something, just how fine you can cut on the machine.
We did have a question about the software. If you've never done anything in terms of working with software, how difficult is it to learn?
Well, I hadn't done anything design software myself first, and I don't know if you can see, if I share my screen, if you let me know when you want me to, I'll show you how easy it is to just literally use the software.
Yeah, you can, I think you can. I'm sharing, no, you go ahead. I think you can share your screen.
Can you look for what you're looking in the background? Or
yeah, I can see your screen, perfect.
Okay, so can you see that?
Yes, so we see the grid.
So you would literally, you've got your blank canvas here, you click on shapes, you click on square, it will bring one up, and you can drag it to the size that you want. You can unlock it and change the shape of it. And if you know the exact dimensions, say you were looking at a piece in real life and you just wanted to change it down to the scale, you could type the dimensions in there and it would, hang on, put in the exact shape of dimensions that you want. So, you know, it's that simple, and then you can copy and paste that if you wanted 2 of those. And hang on, I'm reaching around my things here on my desk, that like that, and it's literally that easy. There's all different kinds of shapes.
Right, that really does look pretty simple.
It is.
You know what it's making me think about? So if you do have to have some design skills. So yes, you can create shapes relatively easy, and you can pump them out of a machine, out of the Cricut machine. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get a design that you like. And that's where your expertise comes in, because you're doing both the design work and then you're also creating the files that people can actually purchase from you to do that themselves. And not everybody wants to be a designer. Some people want to just make a kit at home or run the pieces from a machine to make the kit. But what this actually is making me think of, I don't know if you know of this company called, it was an old publication called The Scale Modeler. And they created a magazine series in this, I want to say the 70s and 80s, and all of them are available in archive. And they all have very, very detailed instructions on how to make beautiful miniatures. So do you know about this?
No, I know what you're going to ask me.
What I'm thinking is all of that can be translated into the Cricut software, and you can pump out designs that you don't have to do design work on your own, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, you've got to be careful of copyright.
Oh, that's true. Oh my God, that's a great point. All right. Don't sue me, anybody. Yeah, hold on, somebody did tell me it was a scale cabinet maker. Thank you, Beth. All right, so yeah, we can't do that. But you could be inspired by that.
You could be.
Inspired by that.
Yeah, and the reason originally I started it, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never designed furniture. I'd never used a Cricut machine. But once I started to make things, I realized that no one else had the files either. So that's why we originally started to share them. I had a Facebook group and I was like, hey guys, have a go at this. And we used to have a little monthly challenge, and I've got a lovely admin in Texas called Nancy. Hi Nancy, because I know you're watching. And we used to put out a little different project every month, just to give people an idea to put the thing through the machine and have a go themselves. But when it comes to designing, and I have no skills, all I can say is it takes practice. So this, for my first stove, was the first thing I designed. And if I hold those up, those are 3 of the 6 prototypes. Oh, I think we've lost.
No, we can still see you. I'm just pulling up more of your work, but keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so we cut one and then something wouldn't fit, so we tweaked that and cut another one, and then something else got thrown out, and then we tweaked the other one. So I think I literally learnt by practice and failure and trying again and trying something new. And I don't think you can't really shortcut that bit.
Right, and so it's a process. And it is forgiving, I imagine, in terms of cost, right? I mean, you are buying the paper and the cardstock, right? I guess that gets a little costly to waste. You can't make a lot of mistakes with that.
You can make, the thing is, one sheet you can make a whole piece of furniture from, and if it's mat board, it's like 50 pence for one sheet, and you don't have to recut everything. You can just cut the one bit that's not right. So it's actually very quick and easy to improve your designs and tweak them. But you just have to be prepared for that little learning curve of trying it again and trying it again. And then, soon you have a piece of furniture, and you learn so much on your first one that then on the second one, and the most difficult thing, and if you were going to be inspired by someone else's designs, the trickiest part, I would say, is the depth of material. So stick to one material first, and you'll get used to designing with the material of that depth, rather than try and throw in different types of material.
Right.
Just stick to the one material, and you'll soon get to know, I need, if a material's 1 mil thick, I need to take 2 mil off the overall width because I've got a piece on either side, and you soon get in the rhythm of that.
Right. Well, so that's another good point you're raising, which is it's a building process even amongst the layers, right? It's not just one. You might have 3 layers for the leg of a table and 2 layers for the top of the table. That's creating the depth.
Yeah, and with the first one, I mean, we've probably, of all the files we've made and built, 2 of them we managed to design and it was right straight away. Every other one has had a prototype which was tweaked, and then we redid that. And you know, you'll do something. There's a difference here between, where is it, that one and that one, in that you probably can't see it. The top layer on this one is thicker than on that one, and it's not until you've cut them and glued them and then you look at them and you think something's not visually right, swap that out and put another one in, you know. And you have to have it, well, I do have to have it physically in front of me, so you could spend all day designing, and it's not until you cut it and make it that suddenly you think, oh, that looks right, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a design process, and you do have to see it physically before you go, that table height is a little off, and you know, and a tiny measurement will throw a whole piece off.
Exactly, but that's when you don't get disheartened, because you can just cut it again, add in your little extra dimension, and then it'll come out fine.
Right. All right, so we're looking at a slideshow of some of your work, which I just love your designs. I love some of these pieces. They're just lovely, lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your design process. What moved you to go, all right, I'm going to work on this, or, you know?
Well, to be honest, mostly I'll either wake up or I'm in the shower, and I'll come out of the bathroom and I'll say to my husband, I've had an idea. And he gets that look on his face of, oh no, what's next? And I'm like, I really need to do this, or I think that would look great with that. And they literally, I call them downloads from the universe. They literally come in, and I feel inspired, and I can't do anything else but that thing. Even if we're doing something else, I'm like, we've got to do this, we've got to do this one. I need to get this out of me. And so my husband, he's got no artistic creative background either. He taught himself Inkscape in this last year, and he now has taken over a lot of, I'd say, the basic design. So I'll go, I need this, here's some pictures, kind of do that first, and he'll come back with the first draft of the basic things, and then I'll go, that curve needs changing, or we need to make that wider, and then we'll do that, and then we'll cut it. So I'm really, really blessed now to have him on board, and he does the making of the square shapes and the round shapes and changing them, and then I just come along and go, yeah, that looks great, and that bit needs tweaking. So I'm really lucky to have that, but mostly I just seem to get a notion of something. The vanity, the kidney-shaped dressing table, I know, you see something in an antique shop and you think, I'd like to be able to make that. And then I built up, you probably haven't, if you haven't watched a video, it was built up in layers and created a void which the drawer would fit into, rather than a traditional cabinet making way. So I think because I've not been trained, I don't have to follow the traditional way of building, so I kind of do it in another way. I don't know how or why. These days they just get shown to me. Build it up in layers, leave a void for the drawer. So that's what I did. And
right, let's take some quick questions. Are there any books for making miniatures in Cricut? I don't think so, but that sounds like an opportunity for you.
Not yet, but there's an ebook coming out.
Ah, all right. We are hearing it first here. That's a huge opportunity. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, you're paving the way for this new technology. I mean, there was laser cutting, there's 3D technology, and now there's Cricut. And I think it's taken a while for it to sort of, percolate. But I think people like you are making it really come to the forefront, because, like I said, I walked right past that machine, and I was like, I never got it. So I think that's fantastic.
There's a small little posse of us trailblazers. I'll give a shout out. There's Nancy, my admin. Era Bentley of Bentley House Minis is coming. She's got a cameo and doing the more of the laser cutting. And Heather Tracy of Thicket Works and Jennifer Kennedy also. There's a little posse of us that have been kind of bringing out the designs and getting them cut, and SVGs and stuff. And I think, we need more people. And once you see it, it's just, everyone goes, oh my God, I just didn't know you could do that. I'm like, yes, this is what we're trying to tell everybody. It's easy once you get it out of the box. So many people don't ever even get it out of the box. and then, you know, you just get your confidence up with it.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think that's really great. All right, final question we have. What is your fantasy project, bucket list project? Is there anything like sort of going on in that? Yeah, there is.
There is. There's one that I'd like to do, but it's an old English TV series. So I doubt that many people in the
You know
US,
some of them.
you might, well, Bagpuss. Have you heard of Bagpuss? No. It was set in a shop,
Okay.
and all the creatures.
Blue-haired lady? Not the blue-haired lady. No.
All the creatures
Sorry.
in the shop. Well, the girl lived in the shop, and every day she would bring in this treasure, and then all the creatures would come alive, and they'd fix this treasure. And of course, they were all miniatures, and they came to life, and then they fixed this treasure. And so I loved it as a child, and I thought I would love to recreate that. So that's the thing on my list that keeps getting pushed back, because all these SVGs keep wanting to be made, and I'm like, oh, I've got to make that, I've got to make that. And sometimes we get inspired. One of the members of my group just said, has anyone ever seen a grandfather clock SVG? And that was Shelley. And I said, no, Shelley, but I can see it now. The minute she said it, I just start getting the designs, and I'm like, I know how I need to make that, and then that needs to look, and and I just said to my husband, we need a grandfather clock, looks like this, but I want to do that. And it just, we get inspired by all different things, as well as our lovely friends.
One more question, which is really good before we wrap this up, is do you travel to shows? I mean, are you involved in the miniatures world that way?
I live in Cornwall. We have one hobby store in this whole county. I'd have to drive 100 miles to get to another one. So I haven't been to the shows, and literally I've got into miniatures only 18 months ago. So the first year of that, we're busy learning everything and just making the files. And then, of course, this year, no one's gone anywhere. I would have liked to have. I would love to come to the States. I'd love to go to the Dallas shows and the Texas shows and all the big shows. So
Chicago, put that first on your list.
Yes. Yeah. You have way more. We have a lovely one. We have the Kensington Dollhouse Fair. That's in London. And then there was some at the Birmingham NEC. But I'm a little bit more one-to-one. And you go to these places and they're just crowded on the stalls. And I like a little bit more relaxed than that. That's why I'm in Cornwall. So I don't do the shows. But here's another. We are currently in talks with somebody in the States going to be producing kits of our SVG. So even if you haven't got a Cricut, you can still build our miniatures, but that's coming out very soon and no one else knows about that.
We're hearing first here. I love it.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. All right, you've got so much going on. I want to just make sure people know, how can they reach you? What are the clubs? What's your YouTube channel? How do they find you? You have you have Etsy, you have a shop on Etsy, you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, anything is Spellbound Miniatures. So if you go on Instagram with Spellbound Miniatures, YouTube with Spellbound Miniatures, Etsy with Spellbound Miniatures. We have our own online store, which is spellboundminiatures.com, and that's in dollars. So if you actually want to buy in dollars, you get a much better price on there than going through Etsy. And we're on Facebook as Spellbound Miniatures, and also the group I started way back 18 months, nearly 2 years ago, with Nancy, was Miniatures Made by Cricketers, because we literally, she'd made something with a Cricut and I'd made something, and I was like, we just messaged each other going, is anybody else doing this? And we're like,
so wait, so we're clear, that is a Facebook group that's managed by you guys. It's open. You pretty much by invitation, or how do you get on it?
They need to answer the questions to join, and ideally you have a Cricut, but you don't have to. And it's really to make miniatures with. The only kind of thing we say is, we don't do general doll's house stuff, because we've got thousands of members and we really want to keep it only to Cricut. So that's the kind of the rules is, if you haven't got one, you need to be interested in one, and it needs to be miniatures rather than larger play scales, because it's kind of to shrink something down that small, it takes a certain kind of method and stuff. So we just try and keep it 12th scale or less. And
you know, a supportive group, like somebody who doesn't know anything about it can get on there and ask questions, and members will answer. And
yeah, and we've got tutorials on there, and we've got files that you can use for free. And also, I've got my Spellbound Miniatures Facebook group. But if you go to any of my YouTube tutorials, click on the description, and all the links are down there anyway. But you can find us wherever.
I think that's amazing. This has been an amazing little time that we've spent together. I really enjoyed this. I learned so much. I hope everybody out there has as well.
I hope so. And thank you very much for having me. It's just lovely to be actually sort of talk about it for once, because we just, you know, there aren't that many people seem to know about it. So thank you, Darren.
My pleasure. So I want to remind everybody to like, comment, subscribe to Lisa's social media channels, my social media channels. Look for our next Meet the Miniaturist, which is actually coming up this Thursday. We're going to have the executive director of the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures out in Tucson, Arizona. She's going to give us a walkthrough of the museum.
Wow.
Like our own little personal tour, which is going to be incredible. That's Thursday, the 29th. The registration is open, so go ahead and check that out on my social media channels. Definitely join. Lisa, it has been great. It's been great having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And that tour sounds amazing, so I'll be joining that for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you,
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. And good night, Lisa. Thank you for hanging in for this one.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right. Take care. Bye.